18. 23. Mercy. An expression of kind consideration or pity that brings relief to those who are disadvantaged. Tender compassion. Also, at times, a lightening of judgment or punishment. Mercy is a frequent translation of the Hebrew kamim and the Greek os verb, eo. An examination of these terms and their usage helps bring out their full flavor and sense. The Hebrew verb ham is defined as meaning to glow, to feel warm with tender emotion. To be compassionate. A Hebrew and Chaldee lexicon, edited by B. Davis, 1957, p. 590 according to lexicographer Gesenius. The primary idea seems to lie in cherishing, soothing, and in a gentle emotion of mind. A Hebrew and English lexicon of the Old Testament, translated by E. Robinson, 1836, p. 939. The term is closely related to the word for womb, or can refer to bowels, which are affected when one feels warm and tender sympathy or pity. Compare Issa 63. 15, 16. J 31. 20. In the scriptures ham is used only once by man toward God, the psalmist saying, O textoi acute miritra longo, mercy 376 compassion, favor, goodwill. D 13. 17. 30. 3. PS 102. 13. Isra 54. 7-10. 60. 10. His sending his son to be born in Israel was evidence of a coming daybreak of divine compassion and mercy for them. Boo 1. 50-58, 72-78. The Greek os conveys some of the sense of the Hebrew kamim. Vine's Expository Dictionary of Old and New Testament Words says, Elios G'(1) is the outward manifestation of pity. It assumes need on the part of him who receives it, and resources adequate to meet the need on the part of him who shows it. The verb lia generally conveys the idea of feeling sympathy with the misery of another, and especially sympathy manifested in act. 1981, Volume 3, pages 60, 61. Hence, the blind, the demon-possessed, the leprous, or those whose children were afflicted were among those who evoked os, the expression of mercy, pity. Mount 9. 27. 15. 22. 17. 15. Mr. 5. 18, 19. Lou 17. 12, 13. In response to the plea, have mercy on us, Jesus performed miracles relieving such ones. He did so, not in a routine, apathetic way, but moved with pity. Mount 20. 31, 34. The Gospel writer here using a form of the verb splagmiddle.my, which is related to splagna, literally meaning intestines. Ac 1. 18. This verb expresses the feeling of pity, whereas os refers to the active manifestation of such pity, hence an act of mercy. Not limited to judicial action. In English the word mercy quite generally conveys the idea of refraining, exercising restraint, such as in the administering of punishment, this restraint being motivated by compassion or sympathy. Thus, it frequently has a judicial flavor, as when a judge shows clemency in softening the judgment upon a wrongdoer. Since God's exercise of mercy is always in harmony with his other qualities and righteous standards, including his justice and trueness. PS 40. 11. Ho 2. 19. And since all men are by inheritance sinful and worthy of receiving sin's payment of death. Row 5. 12. Compare PS 130. 3, 4. Dar 9. 18. Tilt 3. 5. It is clear that the pardoning of error, or the lightening of judgment or punishment, is frequently involved in God's exercise of mercy. PS 51. 1, 2. 103. 3, 4. Dar 9. 9. Mix 7. 18, 19. However, it can be seen from the preceding information that the Hebrew and Greek terms rachamim are not limited to forgiveness or restraint in applying a judicial penalty. Pardon of error of itself is not the mercy generally portrayed by these terms, but, rather, such forgiveness opens the way for that mercy. In expressing mercy, God, of course, never ignores his perfect standards of justice, and for this reason he has provided a ransom sacrifice through his Son Jesus Christ, making possible the forgiveness of sins with no violation of justice. Row 3. 25, 26. Mercy, then, most frequently refers, not to a negative action, a holding back as a punishment, but to a positive action, to an expression of kind consideration or pity that brings relief to those who are disadvantaged, in need of mercy. This is well illustrated in Jesus' parable of the Samaritan who saw the traveler lying by the roadside, robbed and beaten. He showed himself neighbor to the man because, moved with pity, he acted mercifully toward him, treating his wounds and caring for him. Luke 10. 29-37. No forgiveness of wrongdoing or judicial proceedings were involved. Hence, the scriptures show that the mercifulness of Jehovah God is not a quality that comes into